by their language. Of course, when they say something, so for example, if an Indian actor try to speak Chinese,
Right.
you might feel a bit funny. Well, it depends on the role.
Sure.
If he's not supposed to be a native speaker, that's cool. But I would say, you know, back to acting, I think it doesn't matter you are Chinese actor, foreign actors. When you get into acting, you have to look real in acting.
Sure.
Not just the image or the language you speak.
Right.
It's still pretty much about acting.
Yeah, but language is such a big part of it.
It
right? Like,
is,
if you're butchering the fucking pronunciation, you know, like it's hard.
Yeah, that's why, like, you know, when I was in UK, when they put a casting call, if it's a speaking role, you need to be there's a what's that?
This is a podcast. People yelling in the background. Yeah.
Okay, hello.
Why am I probably?
Oh, why am I? Okay. So there's a platform in UK. It's called Spotlight. It's only for professional actors.
Okay.
So if you want to take the speaking role, you need to be on that platform. If you're not, you cannot even take any speaking role. That's why you mentioned about, you know, to say the lines, because you need to, when you say a line in front of camera, that kind of prove you are cast as a professional actor.
A trained actor.
But if you don't have lines,
Right.
you just walk by.
Right.
In film, even if it's a close-up shot, you are not recognized as a professional
You're
actor
just
in
an
UK.
extra, I guess.
You're just extra, feature extra.
Yeah. Did your language factor into you getting casted for the farewell?
I do think so. Well, initially when I went to casting for the farewell, the role was written to be educated in Canada. But the director maybe probably just listen to my accent. She just change it to UK.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty thick UK accent, so it's understandable.
So you say you asked me what was a reason I got a role?
Yeah, like did you, because you're, how do I describe this? You play a handsome doctor who is the love interest of Aquafina in
of
the
Nine
film. Of Nine, fine. Nine's recommended love interest, right? But it was duolingual. It was not duolingual, bilingual, right? Like you had English speaking and you had Chinese speaking, right? Because you communicate with Aquafina in English and then Grandma in Chinese, right? So I'm assuming that factored into. Probably,
that's definitely a huge advantage for me to get that role as a bilingual actor. And I also think because that role, I'm pretty much just that role. So I'm not ABC. I'm not 100% Taiwanese.
Yeah, you fit it perfectly.
Yeah, I was just like that role, educated in the West but born and raised in Asia. And so, in this industry, so my competitor kind of less in this industry when they need a role like this.
A role like that, yeah, that's one of the things I really appreciate about that film. I mean, you know, we've talked about the farewell extensively already, just off air, but I really appreciated that Lulu made an effort. You know, and I know Aquafina got killed for her Chinese pronunciation in China. I get it, but I think it's because a lot of Chinese people don't understand her character. Because I think in terms of maybe how Lulu envisioned her character, could her Chinese have been better? Sure. But it kind of fit as somebody who's like a Haigui coming back, you know, where her foreign accent's perfect. No, but like I think it did fit the character. Yeah, and I appreciate that everybody else outside of her had pretty good English or Chinese.
Well, for me, that Aquafina's Chinese doesn't really bother me at all. And I think that was because her role was a New York-born
that's what
girl,
I mean.
Chinese girl. So that is just like the reality. You see many ABC who were born in LA. When they speak Chinese, they speak it this way. It's just the way.
I know. I fully agree with you. Yeah, I have friends like that.
So that is just the way it is. But maybe for the Chinese audience, because they, you know, like in China, is more they kind of expect to see actress to perform in certain way and certain pronunciation. So that's why we talk about the typecast before.
Right.
So when they see someone who look like Aquafina being the lead for a feature film, that won so many awards internationally.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, they were thinking. They even think about this kind of insult for Chinese image.
I read about that. I read that Lulu got a lot of shit from that post, but as well pre. Like I knew with funding this was an issue, right? I think there was an issue. It's like, oh, well, if you're gonna shoot it in China, it's gonna be a joint invested film. You need to have a different lead. And Lulu was like, no, this is the lead. You know, I thought she was great in it.
The result was great anyway. The result.
This is acting, right? Like I think what she did is, at least is how I define acting, which is, you know, if you watched Aquafina before the farewell, this is not how you imagine her, right? And this is an actor, an artist going along her journey, trying something new. And I think doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, good job. And
especially her scenes with you. Those are the best scenes.
Come on. You don't have to. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I mentioned before, you know, because here they also see acting as a technique, a skill you have to do in front of the camera. So like even the way you say the lines, the voice, the vocal, how loud it is, the way you stand. So, for example, if Aquafina stand like this, it's not a trend actor look for Chinese.
Whereas I would probably the West sees that if she stands like that, that's because her character's like that, right?
And it doesn't mean just because she stand like that doesn't mean she's not a good actor, because she is real. The real is the authentic.
Exactly.
Authenticity is the key for the Western audience. You need to make people believe in you. That's the most important thing. It's not because you have, you know, better voice, you have prettier face or something.
Your back is straight. It's not
because this is a film. It's a filmmaking. Filmmaking, the sound is a sound guy to fix the issue. It's not the actor's job to make it sound louder or something.
Do you think that's changing in China?
I don't know, but I can't really say is it change or not. But for now, I think there's still a gap.
There's a huge gap in China for sure still. You know, but the farewell was shot here, if I remember correctly, right? Changchun?
Yeah, Changchun. It was like probably like 80% shot in China.
What was that like for you? Because I guess before you had that role, I mean, since then, now obviously you're famous, and I can't even get you to come on a podcast anymore. But like before that, like, you know, being on set with on the Chinese side, the actors are quite famous from what I understand, right? Like the Chinese actors involved, they're like legends of, well, not legends, but like they're very well known in China. Right? Was that more intimidating, or was it more intimidating sharing a screen with Aquafina? Or was
it more what?
Intimidating? Like was it more intimidating? You know, like
chimmy?
No, not chimmy. That's intimate. Intimate, like scary. You know, like nervous. Like was it me? For you? Yeah, was it more nervous being, because you know we talked about this. You're right down the middle. That's why you're perfect for that doctor role, right? So was it more nerve-wracking, you know, doing it with Aquafina or with acting with Chinese actors?
For me, well, back to that time, like 2 years ago when we filmed it, Aquafina wasn't that big.
Exactly.
She did Crazy Rich Asian already, but was not the lead, right? And
also,
so,
I don't think it came out yet, did it? When you filmed?
Probably not. So I didn't really know her much. I knew her from a YouTube video or something when she was a rapper. And also Lulu Wang, the director, I didn't know her that time. And she didn't have any feature film work that time, as far as I know. And other Chinese actors like Nai Nai, Zhao Shuzhen. Zhao Shuzhen is a well, she was more recognized for TV dramas for Chinese audience, those who watch family drama or something, but I didn't know much about that. So for me, it was kind of okay. It wasn't, and for me, I don't really feel especially nervous when I work with, you know, celebrity or someone.
Good. I think that's important. Right?
Yeah, in the end, I mean, actors are actors anyway. We are not there for competition. We are there to work together to create a scene.
That's so interesting how you say that. You're not there to compete because you all have a role. Like literally, you all have a role, right?
I'm not there to show I'm a better actor. Because in the end, when audience they see a scene. They not just see me. It's not the close up on me all the time. It's I give you my lines, you give me my lines. When you say line, I really have to listen, and I need to observe other actors in the scene. But it was a kind of fun experience because when I worked for the farewell, that was kind of the first time they put I'm involved with production that half of the cast are the Chinese trained actors, and the half of them like Tisma, Aquafina.
Tisma's in everything now, by the way. Like,
I know,
he's literally
he's also
everything. That guy probably got the most fame.
I know. He's the most famous Asian daddy in Hollywood.
It's weird now when I see a trailer for an Asian film and he's not in it.
Yeah, imagine if Nai Nai speak English. She's probably very popular in Hollywood.
Yeah, she get all the roles.
But that was a cool experience. So, I can really tell. So, for example, Tisma and the other actors who play Aquafina's uncle, Li Jingpo. Li Jingpo is experienced, kind of known mature actors.
Yeah.
So they play brothers.
Right.
But one was raised in China, one was raised in America.
Yeah.
And the fact is that both of them are good actors. Yeah. But their acting skills so different.
Very different. Yeah.
Very different. When they say the lines, they say it so differently.
Yeah.
But for me,
I think for the untrained eye, they probably don't see it. Like, I think when my mom saw it, she probably didn't really recognize that. The Aquafina's mom was probably my favorite character. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. I thought she was really, really good, or at least maybe just the most relatable to me. Because she reminded me the most of my mom. But I thought she was really good in that film.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
She's also kind of have she what's her name? But anyway, she is based in Australia now. So she's also kind of have she have overseas experience, and she was born and raised in China. So
but her Chinese was very good, actually.
She was born and raised here.
Yeah, Chinese was very good. Her English also very good. The first time I watched it with my mom cried. And I when that happened, I was like, I think this film did its job. And obviously I've never met Lulu. I don't know what her motivations behind this film were personally. Like, I know what PR says and what's being published, but like personally, and I feel like this is probably one of the things that she was hoping for, that people from my mom's generation and probably your mom's generation as well would see a film like this that would. It would never have been made even 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. It wouldn't have been made anywhere in the world. And now they get to kind of see it. And it really touched my mom because my mom's from Changchun. My mom was born in Changchun.
Okay.
So some of the scenes, it was very personal to her. It was a beautiful moment, man.
Yeah. I think that time, so in the West, especially those Asian community, well, I don't see myself as Asian community in the West because I wasn't raised there.
Sure.
But from what I heard, like the ABC community, the CBC community, BBC, they were so happy that their story were finally told through cinema. Yeah. And they've been waiting for that for a long time. Yeah. And so I guess that was, because people been...
It's like hammering going on. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So people been expecting to see it for a long time. When it finally come out, people just, so happy to see it.
It was, for me... Like I said, I'm just starting this journey. Let's see what happens when we look back 50 years. I think this will be on the Asian Mount Rushmore of films when it's all said and done. I really do. It's an incredible film, I think.
Okay, cool.
But the important thing is that we don't stop, right? The important thing is that what Lulu has done, especially for, I think, Asian filmmakers, because the producer, I think, were also female, right? You had a female lead. Yeah, Jane produced it. I think for Asian female filmmakers, I think this was a huge step. Yeah. And I think we gotta keep going, keep on going on top of that. Yeah. So that'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Yeah. See, this wasn't so bad, was it?
Yeah.
You were nervous about coming on. I remember the first time I asked you to do this podcast, you were like, I'm not a good talker. I'm like, Jim, you're gonna be fucking fine. Like, you're an actor.
Yeah, because I'm, normally, I like conversation. I like to talk with people, but, mostly I'm not the one who initiate the conversation. Okay. But
that's why
when we start to talk, cool, man.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Where do you want acting to go from here? Like, do you? Obviously, I think you probably want to be in like Hollywood production films, right? You want to grow both professionally and personally as an actor, but like in the short run. Right. Let's not say 15 years. I'm sure you're going to have at least one Oscar in 15 years, right? Cool. But in the next, let's call it 15 weeks. Okay. Right? Like, what are you... Because I think you do a lot more commercial now, which I'm sure is much more stable. You're getting a clientele. Directors know you. The money is good, But how do you make that transition? How do you go from, I want to do more indie, or I want to find more of these like horror lead roles that fit you? Are you making that transition right now? Are you thinking about it?
One factors about actor is that I don't have the fully control about my own career.
Right.
Because, I do appreciate the fact that I can make a living as a full-time actor.
Yeah.
Because I know many talented actors.
Yeah.
When I was in London, many of them are so talented. They look good. They are talented. They have good education. They don't get any acting job. They are waiting for opportunities. They work in a gym, work in cafe. They got paid from those places. But they got like acting job probably once a year, work as an extra, work as a stunt guy, something body double, but they never got a proper acting job. So when I moved here, like now, this year or last year, I actually have to, deny some, I have the chance to deny some offers because my schedule is not done.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to take all the offers.
You're too popular, Jim.
No, I'm just compared to, because I come from London, so I know how tough it is. So when I got offers, I kind of have to appreciate that because I'm still me. Well, 3 years ago when I was in London, I was even younger, maybe more handsome, but I didn't get any jobs.
You're much more handsome now. Yeah, you have like this old man handsome.
Nah, come on. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so now when the offers come to me, I really appreciate, I want to grab all the opportunities that come to me now.
Right.
So when I have to select, of course, I take care of the script. I want to get involved in good production. I want to work with good directors. But also because this is my job, when I get involved, I want to make sure it has the salary make my my requirement. Because I do this not for fun. I do this because
it's a career.
It's my career. Yeah. I offer my service.
Yeah.
You take my service, and I think it's also fair for other production who pay me. Yeah. So when I get involved this one, and also sometimes when I see the budget, I can kind of see the scale of this production. Sure. I can understand what kind of production I'm getting involved. So if you have certain amount of time, you just have to be selective. But yeah, earlier that horror movie I mentioned to you, that's kind of rare. I didn't have this kind of offer before. But yeah, of course, I want to get involved with good movies, like the good directors, good team, A-list team. Yeah. And for me, I think, I still kind of gradually want to move more to, say international actors, not just in China.
Yeah, I would say. I think you're doing there. I think you're doing a great job moving internationally. I'm sure that'll be a great next step. Just hearing you explain this, I think it's really cool. I think a lot of people think actors are very vain.
Very vain.
It's like very self-conceited. And just like talking to you, it just makes me realize that probably that's not the case. I think you're an incredibly humble guy. Just knowing you on air and off air, because I think at this point now, you have achieved a certain level of success that a lot of actors do not reach. Like purely financially, right? Just purely financially, because now you have the luxury of at least not having to worry about that. I think, right? Like you don't have to worry about what you're gonna eat. You don't have to worry about paying for rent. And you have the luxury now of kind of working on your craft. So I think for a humble guy like you, that's well deserved, man. It really is.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right, Jim. So we try to wrap up our podcast every time the same way, which is with a rapid round of questions. Okay. So, it's just like 5 or 6 questions. First thing that comes to your mind, you can elaborate if you want. The first question we usually always open with is, what is your favorite Asian dish? So not cuisine, dish.
My favorite cuisine.
Dish. Single dish.
So it's like I have to say like 小笼包 or something.
Yes.
One specific
not just
dish.
小笼包, like Shanghai 小笼包 or Nanjing 小笼包. Yeah.
Oh, right. I quite like this one thing called Beijing 卤煮. 卤煮 is kind of random. I don't think you know that thing, but it's like a lot of organs, like 大肠, like
pig or...
pig. And I think it was pretty good when you eat this in the winter. It makes
Is it
you
like
feel
a
very...
stew, like a 火锅 type of thing?
对。
Okay, interesting. You gotta try
Look
that.
at your face.
Yeah, next time I go to Beijing, we can go eat some. I think it's similar to I like 牛肚.
Niudu, yeah.
It's
if
like
you like
this,
niudu, you will like it. Yeah.
How do you describe that, man? I think it's like intestine lining, something like that, right? It's a weird thing. I don't even know how to describe that in English.
Like
what is the texture like? It's chewy.
Chewy,
Yeah.
对 like chewy.
I like that too.
I like it.
Yeah, cool. All right, it's like white, right? The 牛肚 is white.
Niudu itself is, but when they put in lu, like that was with soy sauce, so it looks kind of brown.
Okay, cool, interesting. Next question: what is one place in Asia that more people should check out for traveling purposes?
Taiwan.
Where? Come on, give me a little.
Oh,
more.
okay.
I agree. I think Taiwan's fucking amazing.
One specific place, right?
Yeah.
I would say go to Taipei because the Taipei there are so many landmarks that are so well connected through metro.
Oh yeah.
So you can spend one day. You can visit.
Yeah.
Beautiful mountains, hot spring place, seaside, some 九份 some old streets. In one day, you can see Taipei 101, all connected through metro.
I really miss Taipei actually, man.
Yeah?
It's people there are so nice. Shit is so clean.
Yeah.
And when I first went to Taipei, the thing that surprised me was the Japanese influence. So I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I learned that apparently when Japan invaded Taiwan, it wasn't forceful. It was much more like assimilated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, compared to other Asian countries.
Sure, compared to what
still
they did
kind
here,
of military
or in Korea,
process, but yeah. Okay. Compared to what they did in mainland China or Korea, yes.
Yeah. So there's a heavy Japanese influence. I thought it was really cool. Okay, next question we usually ask is, this is going to be great for you. Is there an Asian film or an Asian character within a film or TV that not necessarily inspired you, but I guess you really love and people should check out more? Or a filmmaker, like anything to do with film or TV on screen?
Any film or TV on screen,
Asian.
The Asian talent.
Yeah, either like you can fucking say Pokemon for all I care. Just like either an actor or a character on screen. Like for example, Lucy Liu in Kill Bill, right? Or a director or a film.
I would recommend. An Li's early movies, like when he made those Chinese, like low budget Chinese movies. I think that can inspire people who have low budget to make a great movie.
Okay,
that was like Pushing Hands, 饮食男女 It's Woman.
What's the Chinese name?
饮食男女 And there's one Wedding Banquet 喜宴 and one Pushing Hand 推手 Low budget, made in America when he was a student in Illinois State.
So this is like what, late 80s, early 90s?
I think it's early 90s.
Yeah.
And that time, Andy was not famous. Yeah. He had low budget, but he had like great scripts and great talent.
Yeah, I mean, Ang Lee's an incredible storyteller, right? Like and I haven't seen a lot of his films. I think Life of Pi is probably the most recent one I've seen. But you can kind of see how his brain visually works throughout the story. Yeah. Like it's a very, you know that he shot it the way that he saw it. I guess what I meant, it's part of the story. He's a very visual storyteller.
And he had many different vision in making different type of movies.
Sure. Yeah. We'd love to get him on this podcast. If you know him, let me know.
I'll give him a call now.
Okay, cool. Next question we usually ask is, you currently live in Beijing, even though you move around so much, but if you had to live somewhere else in Asia, where would it be? You can't say Beijing or Taiwan.
Yeah, I haven't visited Singapore in my life, and I kind of think it can be cool because they are, Singapore is kind of small, but they're bilingual. It seems very international, and they
growing film industry, from what I hear. Growing production industry. Yeah,
Crazy Rich Asian was filmed there. I think.
Yeah, because I think Netflix is basing their HQ out of there, right? I mean, their APAC HQ is based out of Singapore, so I think as they make more Asian focused content out of Southeast Asia, it's going to be more of a hub.
Yeah, and it seems like the the vibes, the image of Singapore is just, very good for people like us in the creative industry.
Yeah, I don't know. The older I get, the more appealing it becomes. But I feel like Singapore's maybe a little too polished for me. Me. Whereas like Shanghai is still kind of down the middle a little bit. It's still very raw. Okay, next question we usually ask is there an Asian music artist that you think people should check out more, either now or before?
I've been a fan of Jay Chou's old time music for a long time, because that was
what Taiwanese isn't. I said what Taiwanese isn't. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, because when I went to university, that was about the time when he started his singing career.
Oh, okay.
And so we kind of grew up with his music, and actually when the time when he published his first and second album, that kind of changed all things of Chinese pop.
Yeah.
Before that, we only listened, I don't know, Zhang Xue or Andy Lau, blah, 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 all those melancholy melody. But then when Jay Chou came out, he bring those R&B, rap, hip-hop.
This is something I would really love to explore with TNS one day. Where, like the bigger media company we're building with the noodle shop is... like looking historically at Cantopop, which is probably before what you talked about. And I think Jay Chou probably brought on the onset of what you call it, Mandopop, essentially, right? And then you had K-pop about 4 years after that.
Yeah.
And then just going through these cycles. And I've been recently turned on to like Japanese punk rock, which apparently has been a huge thing in Japan.
Okay.
So I think there's like Asian music, it has a very rich history, like contemporary history that I think we should really explore more. Cool. All right, next question we usually ask is our last question, and it's usually one we end with because it's called the Noodle Shop. Do you have, I feel like I know the answer to this already, but do you have a favorite type of noodles, Asian noodles?
I like dry noodles. I don't like noodles with soup.
I thought you were gonna say Taiwan 牛肉面 because
Taiwan 牛肉面 is good too. But
it's amazing.
I like the 牛肉 in 牛肉面, but I don't like
yeah.
soup. I don't like to mix soup with noodles. I like 干面.
Dude, like proper Taiwan 牛肉面 is one, hard to find.
对.
But two, when you go to Taiwan have it, it's fucking amazing.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's that and it's pho. Like that, like equivalent.
I think 牛肉面 is better than pho.
Sure, you have a bias. All right, Jim, listen, man, thank you so much for doing this. I hope you got a good time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.